Welcome to Behind the Scenes at Slow Wine Fair 2023 in Bologna. Stevie and the podcast crew interview a variety of Italian exhibitors who attended the fair and took the opportunity to chat with many of the benchmark producers selected for our new book, Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0. Check out the big buffet of guests and get ready to be hungry and thirsty as exhibitors and producers talk about their signature products and give us top tips for food, wine, and fun in their regions. Hello, I'm here at Slow Wine in Bologna today with FEDERICO ORIANI from Bersano in Piemonte. And Bersano has been selected as one of our benchmark producers for the grape Ruche in our new edition of Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0. So thank you for coming to talk to us about Ruche.
Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, it's a pleasure for me. So let's talk about Bersano
and Ruche. So
Ruche, yeah.
Bersano, when did they begin making Ruche?
So Bersano, yeah, it's an historical company founded at the beginning of last century in 1907. And we bought an estate in Castagnola Monferrato, which is not a city, but it's the city for producing Ruche, in about 2011, so 10 years ago. We have an estate about 52 hectares of property, and we produce a small quantity of a bottle because we believe in quality and not in quantity. So our philosophy is to defend the traditional winemaking of wine, and so we're trying to push it in our wine.
And I think that's probably why you've become a benchmark producer for quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
So for our students, it's important to hear Ruche is not a very well-known grape outside of Piemonte.
Yeah.
Especially for students coming from China and America and Canada. When we think about Piemonte, we think about Nebbiolo. So let's talk about Ruche and its character.
Yeah. So Ruche is a new kind of wine, of a new kind of Piedmont wine, and so it's very easy to drink. People love it, Ruche, when you try, because it's just about its melt, so very flavors melt, and then it destroy everything you think, because it's a very tannic wine, it's a very strong wine. And so it's that kind of wine that people love. So
I love it.
Very, very drinkable, very easy to drink, but very easy to buy because the price is not so expensive. So you can find it, you can drink it, and you can enjoy it, and that's it.
And this is one of the interesting things about Italian wine, especially these grapes that people don't know very well, because the prices are low, because people don't know what they're getting. So Ruche is one of my favorites, very sheer, very aromatic and floral. Well, how many wines does Bersano make with Ruche?
Just one.
Just one.
Just one wine. Yeah, the Ruche from Castagnola Monferrato, which is the name of our estates in Castagnola Monferrato.
And all in steel? Are you using wood? How are you making the wine?
Yeah, the major part of it is steel, but we use a little bit of wood to give him that kind of Bersano style. We know about. Everyone has to try our wine and say this is a Bersano wine, so we're trying to put in our wine that kind of
give it your
tradition.
Its character.
We are in Piedmont since 1907, so we're trying to defend the traditional way to produce wine.
Well, I have a question for you because obviously I'm a lot older than you. And we know that statistically in the past few years, the number of younger people drinking wine has gone down. And we're all very worried about this. We need to bring young people to wine. I'm a wine educator. I try to bring young people to wine. So your friends, your age, are they drinking Ruche?
And I try to convince my friends to drink wine, especially to drink Ruche, because it's a new kind of wine, but everyone would try Ruche, love it. So it's very easy to sell, but before you have to taste it. And that's a difficult point, that's a difficult step to do, but we are investing in something, in communication, in promotion, to push that kind of wine.
What do you think about that sort of communication that we need to attract younger drinkers to new styles of wine? Are you doing Instagram? Are you? You're here with me on a podcast.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but are you doing things? TikTok. How are you reaching out to younger people?
We actually do Instagram in Facebook and a little bit of LinkedIn.
Ah, okay.
But I think this Derrick is the perfect wine for girls, for women, because it's very flavor smell. So it's very easy to drink, and so we are trying to communicate this kind of drinkability, this kind of flavor in your mouth that you can find, and that kind of smells. So let's try it. I think.
Thank you so much. I'm
Thank
so
you so
glad
much.
to meet
Yeah,
you,
thank
and
you.
we're all going to head to Piemonte and try Ruché with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Perfetto. Grazie. Hello, it's Cynthia Chaplin here again from Slow Wine in Bologna. And today I have with me GIANFELICE from Alfonso del Sordo in Puglia. And we're going to be talking about Uva di Troia because the cantina was chosen to be one of our benchmark producers for the new edition of Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0. And in this book, we selected benchmark producers who are available to be found outside of Italy for our Italian Wine Academy students who are studying, and also for Italian wine lovers who want to try some of the lesser known grapes that are a little bit less famous outside of Italy. So let's talk about Uva di Troia.
Yes, Uva di Troia is our focus for our production because we are one of the few winery that tried to rediscover these ancient grapes. And we start in 2001 with our research with the University of Troia with Mr. Luigi Moio, that's a well-known enologist, that helped us to rediscover and to promote this kind of grape.
Yeah, it's a very ancient grape. How long has Uva di Troia been in Puglia?
Oh, since long time, because it's many stories about that. Some of them tell that Uva di Troia comes from Spain, and other from the east part of the Adriatic Sea. So Troia, you know, Troia
From
in Turkey.
Troy.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why it's a long story. But it was present in our area, in the northern Apulia, because it's very characteristic for our area, different from the south of Puglia.
Very different.
Yes, and for that reason we were very interested in it.
So how many hectares of Uva di Troia have you got?
We have about 5 hectares.
So very small.
Yes, because one of these is really the Hansen grapes, the Hansen vines.
How old?
Yes, it's about 70 years old.
Wow.
And is the original vineyards in our winery. So from that vineyards we take the best grapes to transform in wine from our reserva.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And so with your reserva, you're aging it longer, obviously.
Is about 4 here, and it's 1 here in the hooks in tonneau, and after in bottles.
Right.
And this is the process, but it's really an interesting wine.
Well, and Uva di Troia has a lot of tannin,
Yeah.
a lot of good color, so the potential to age it even longer is better. Have you been trying some of your older wines?
Really.
How are they aging?
Yeah, because we have also the 2001, the first vintage that we produce only Uva di Troia, because in the past it was blended with other grapes like Montepulciano and Sangiovese, but we start, as I told before, from 2001, and we usually make the testing, vertical testing. Also 2001, 2003 are really good to test.
So they're standing the test of time, over 20 years old.
Yeah,
They're really aging so well. And as I said, it's lovely to have a benchmark producer where we know we can find this wine outside of Italy. So when I've got my American clients and my British clients and my Chinese clients, what should they be eating when they're drinking Uva di Troia?
Oh, really? Apulian food is perfect because, but with this kind of reserva, you need important food, well balanced, like beef or roasted meat.
So a robust food.
Yeah, really.
Good. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on your benchmark.
Thank you very much.
Hi, it's Cynthia Chaplin from Slow Wine in Bologna today, and I'm very happy to have CAMELIA LAZAR with me. And CAMELIA represents Panizzi wine in San Gimignano. So tell us what you're doing.
Sure. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's an honor for us to be named benchmark for Vernaccia di San Gimignano. We are very much in love with the territory and the grapes, and we believe Vernaccia to be a very versatile grape that can regale really fantastic wines in very different styles.
You're doing so many styles.
Well, we do four distinct interpretations, with which we are trying to make the profile of Vernaccia di San Gimignano.
So let's talk about, this is the base wine.
Yes, this is the green
one
label.
everyone knows.
This is the first wine that was produced in Panizzi. The first vintage was 1989. And it is the most immediate, ready-to-drink interpretation of the Vernaccia di San Gimignano.
Very accessible, acidic, bright, fresh.
Exactly. So Vernaccia excels with rapier-like acidity, which also makes it very age-worthy.
Absolutely. So yeah, I know you have this one, and then what's the next step up with?
Well, the next
the
step
Vernaccia?
is a cru. We are dedicated to this vineyard, its own wine, starting with vintage 2003, but Vigna Santa Margherita. It's in many senses the mother vineyard for Panizzi, because this is where the winery was born in 1989. It's an old vine, now it has over 50 years old. For this reason, we have very low yields, but in terms of quality of the fruit, maybe the best vineyard that we have.
So how are you treating the cru vineyard? How are you treating those cru wines?
Well, we are certified organic in all our vineyards, so treating the vineyards following a least interventionist approach, trying to tend them to last as long as possible. But especially because old vines, having such a deep radical root system, will be the ones that best fare in extreme conditions like it was 2021 or 2022.
Exactly, in drought conditions, the root system is so deep they can still reach the water table.
Exactly, and that helped us a lot. Another factor that we came to recognize as extremely important is to have the vineyards as only a small part of our working ecosystem. Most of our vineyards are small plots of maximum 4 hectares, but even less than that. And they are integrated in a forest landscape. So having thick vegetation around the vineyard played a very, very important role.
So I know you have a Reserva as well.
Yes.
How's that being made?
So the Reserva is a clonal selection of Vigna Santa Margherita, and it comes from its own vineyard as well, Vigna delle Rose, at only 2 hectares, dedicated to make the Reserva. And the Reserva for Panizzi is our manifesto for the unexpected capacity of Vernaccia di San Gimignano to grow, gain complexity and depth with the passing of the time.
Exactly, and then you've got the sweet wine.
Evoe is an experimentation, comes from our desire to add to the characterization of the Vernaccia di San Gimignano. So we have the young, most ready to drink, we have the cru, an old vine, we have the Reserva that can be aged for 20, 30 years. With Evoe, which is a wine that was first produced in 2006, we're exploring long maceration on the skins. The idea was to see how far we can push the maceration. However, careful to avoid the oxidative style, which is typically recognizable for orange wines.
Exactly.
We wanted to intervene just before the oxidation sets in because we didn't want to lose the typical character of the Vernaccia di San Gimignano.
Exactly.
So it comes with 6 months of maceration on the skins in a wooden vat, and again, extremely age-worthy wines.
So lots of interesting projects. So thank you so much. It was lovely to see you.
It's been a pleasure.
And
thank you.
Congratulations to Panizzi for Vernaccia di San Gimignano.
Thank you.
Hello, it's Cynthia Chaplin. I'm here at Slow Wine in Bologna with Roberto from Santa Lucia Cantina in Puglia. And I'm very happy to say that Santa Lucia was chosen as one of our benchmark producers for our new book, Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0. And the grape for which they were chosen was Uva di Troia, which is one of my personal favorites. So I'm happy to speak to Roberto today to ask, first of all, where is Santa Lucia in Puglia?
Santa Lucia is at 250 meters on the sea level, among Castel del Monte, with UNESCO heritage, the octagonal castle, and Trani, with a famous Romanic cathedral on the Adriatic Sea. Midway on the hills is Santa Lucia, established in 1822. We call Nero di Troia, Uva di Troia, no?
Yes.
In our slang, because legally up to 5 years ago it was only Uva di Troia, but the slang is Nero di Troia.
Is Nero di Troia, because of course it's a red grape. So
It's a red with very dark color.
exactly. So let's talk about the wine you make with it. So it's a very deep colored wine, a lot of polyphenol in the skin.
We have a traditional interpretation. Uva di Troia has a tannin in the skin and the fruit inside in the pulp. So with different vinification, you can reach different results. So for the marketing is not the top, and we have different price, different quality, different taste, different bottles. In the south we are more individualist, no? So it's not like in Langa where the bottle is the same. Anyway, if you go in a vineyard on July and you see how many aces are on the vines, you understand the wine you'll get.
Exactly. How many wines does Santa Lucia make with Uva di Troia?
Two wines, Riserva and Standard. Reserva is a DOCG and the Standard is a DOC.
And the difference between those two?
The Standard, the regular, is aged in the big barrel for 12 months. It's a 3,500 liters of Slavonian oak. The Riserva is the selection of the best grape of the year, of the best result after vinification, the best analytic results, the best tasting, and generally we have no more than 30 hectoliters, 5,000 bottles a year, and aged in the French barrique for 18 months.
So much smaller oak and much longer aging.
Yeah.
So
Riserva Nero di Troia likes to age. It likes oxidation, no?
Yes.
So I opened a bottle of 1997 a few weeks ago and was still in good shape. So
this is such an important grape for that kind of a reason. The potential to age, the potential to travel, to stay in its bottle, to keep its freshness and its acidity still for such a long period of time. So a grape that it comes from a long legend. There's a history behind Uva di Troia, a very old grape in Puglia. And it's been in that region for hundreds and hundreds of years. So when you're at home drinking Uva di Troia, what are you eating with it in Puglia?
I like pecorino cheese, I like roasted meats, I like soup with spicy.
Oh, nice!
Yeah,
That's an important thing to
If you
know.
make Uva di Troia or Nero di Troia with the Eastern kitchen, it's perfect because the tannins, the acidity,
And the fruitiness.
can match very well with spicy food.
It's interesting pairing Italian wine with cooking from other countries because Italian wine is so flexible, especially with grapes like Uva di Troia. They can handle some heat, they can handle some spices. So
You can join in your hotness with this food. When it ages, it gets more elegant, more smooth. You need 7-8 years to change the flavor to the bottle. After 7 years, the elegance comes out. It is an explosion of elegance. Tannins are softer, and the acidity allows long life. So I say to the clients, open one bottle every 6 months and just follow the changements and understand.
I think this gets hard to have to wait 8 years for the elegance.
6 months each bottle, right?
Exactly, one at a time.
But I wait 4 years before delivering, so 4 years are off at the start.
Exactly.
And 2 years are in the wine shops and the distributors, so it's not so hard.
So we've passed
To
enough
wait.
time by then.
If you want to go deeper
Good.
in understanding Nero di Troia.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it
Thank
and
you.
taking
Bye.
us to Puglia for a few minutes. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye. Bye, Cinzia.
Hi, it's Cynthia Chaplin. I'm here at Slow Wine in Bologna today with Luca from Terrecruda in Marche, and Terre Cruda has been selected as one of our benchmark producers for the new edition of Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0. And the grape they were selected for was Aleatico, which is a very unusual and interesting grape to talk about, an ancient grape in the area that can be made in a lot of styles, and it's usually known for being a sweet or semi-sweet wine. But Terre Cruda's wine that is the most important in their cantina is a dry red style. So I'm so happy to talk to Luca today. Tell me what you're doing with your Aleatico in Marche.
Sì, Aleatico is a very special kind of grape. We are the northeast part in Italy where we produce Aleatico, because Aleatico have a very sensitive skin, very light, and it's sensitive to the humidity, to the fog. So in the north part it's very difficult to grow.
Too cold, too wet.
Yeah, so we are the northeast part where we grow Aleatico, and we are the only one, the only area where we can produce Aleatico in a dry red version.
So tell me what else you're doing with Aleatico there, because people who know me from podcast and other things know that I'm very interested in Italian rosati.
Sì.
So I know that you're doing rosati there. Let's talk about that.
We produce with Aleatico a rosé version that is very fresh, young, and very aromatic, because Aleatico have this characteristic to be very floral, like roses, violet, or fruity like strawberries. And so it's very unique taste, and the young version that we produce is rosé. And then we produce a young Aleatico in a red version, but also in a red version the color of Aleatico is very light.
Yes.
Have a very light color. And then the third and the most known of our production is Aleatico aged in oak barrel. We was the first in our area to do this kind of vinification.
Why did you decide to do that?
Because we want to introduce this very special grape in an international market. So to give more body, but it's not also important to have so the body of the Aleatico is not the most important characteristic.
No, it's the nose.
Yeah, it's the nose. So sometimes have a great nose, really complex, but the body sometimes is too light to compare with some other kind of grape. So we want to find a compromise between the body and the aroma, and we decided to use some wood, but not new wood, not too much, because we don't want to cover the first characteristic of the wine. And so we just made this aged in oak, just using used oak barrel.
So when you're eating with your Aleatico,
Sì.
what food in Marche are you eating?
So we are used to combine when we found with the truffle, because we are in
interesting.
Yeah.
Black truffles or white truffles?
If there's white, okay. Otherwise, black. It depends to the season.
So how long has the winery been working with Aleatico? How many years?
It's 20 years. Consider that Aleatico is a very old kind of grape in
Ancient
our
grape,
area.
very
Yeah,
much.
it's very old in all Italy, but in our area we can read about production of Aleatico more than 1,000 years ago.
Right.
But the denomination was born in 2005, thanks to our winery, because we plant 5 hectares of Aleatico, and together with the other little producer, we can ask for have the DOC. And so from because in our case, we have all the vineyard, but in the past we are used to sold the grape.
Okay, so now you're keeping your own.
20 years ago we decided with our family to build our own winery, and we focus in a native grape, and a unique one. Aleatico is the first, but we also grow Incrocio Bruni, Garofanata, so very unique kind
Very
of.
unique grapes. That's so amazing. So I'm really glad to meet you, Luca.
Thank you.
Thank you
very
so
much for your
Thank
time.
you very much.
Thank
Oh,
you.
that was awesome.
Okay, so here we are again with another interview here at Slow Wine here in Bologna. and I have the pleasure of speaking with Enrico DREI DONA.
Thanks, perfect. it's always complicated with my family name.
No, it's fantastic. And you are from the Cantina DREI DONA.
Right.
Can you tell me where your cantina is located?
So DREI DONA winery is a family boutique winery. It's located in Romagna, southern part of Emilia-Romagna, in the DOC sub-appellation Predappio DOC. So it's in between the town of Forlì and Predappio. It is the heart of Sangiovese in Romagna.
Okay. And what would you say that your signature grape is Sangiovese?
The signature grape is Sangiovese. We work for many years with these old clones of Sangiovese, typically of our area, our terroir.
I wanted to ask you a couple things. First of all, I wanted you to tell me a little bit about your family and like when the winery started and a little bit about the story of your family.
The estate is in our hands, in our property since 1923. But in the past, my grandfather, nobody really managed the estate directly. So all my grandparents used to be surgeon on the medical side. My father was a lawyer, an attorney. And it was my father in the late 70s, early 80s that decided to quit to continue his attorney law activity in the law, in the court. And he quit and he moved in the countryside in the family estates, taking care of renovation of all the estates. So they were making new winery, rebuilding the vineyards. He started big works on these old clones of Sangiovese and the old plants we had found in our estate. So we have a sort of a reborn of the estates in the middle 80s thanks to my father. And the focus was, of course, Sangiovese, old clone of Sangiovese, and a big selection of the states. So he identified this single vineyard, Vigna del Pruno. It's our flagship Sangiovese of the states now. And on the side, he also makes something at that time very avant-garde style. He purchased from Bordeaux Cabernet Sauvignon, and he planted the first Cabernet Sauvignon ever planted in the Romagna vineyards.
Really?
And he makes this single vineyard Cabernet Sauvignon since end of the 80s, planted in 1984, 1985.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool, yes.
Yeah. How would you talk to students about your wine, your Sangiovese? How does the terroir, your specific terroir, how is that reflected in the wines?
First, you mark the point because terroir, soil, climate for Sangiovese is very important. So the same clones of Sangiovese grapes planted in different area, different terroir, have different expression of its fruitiness and floral part. So that's the main part that makes the difference. The Predappio area where we are located, so the heart of the Sangiovese in Romagna, is a terroir, is very rich terroir. We have almost 40% of sand in the texture, and then clay together with the clay, very deep clay. And the calcareous straight underground, 1.5 meter underground. The interesting thing is that our Sangiovese from the classic Sangiovese and the single vineyard is fruitiness and fruity notes.
Right.
Very remarkable, I want to say, in tasting. Okay. So they are not the classic light style of Sangiovese. They are elegant, but with a full body and full.
You know how we're at Slow Wine, and they, but how does your wine and your winery reflect?
Well, yes, I sometimes don't meet because for us it's normal, but our estate is 23 hectares. It's completely certified organic. We work under organic agriculture. We are completely sustainable through solar panels, so all the electricity for making the cellar working is all made through solar panel.
Really?
Yes, we have horse breeding.
No way.
In the horse breeding, we use the manure of the horses to fertilize the...
Do you do the biodynamic thing too? Or?
Absolutely. We are the agriculture now is all biodynamic. Still not certified. We're all working in biodynamic.
Still, you're trying it.
Sometimes I also make a joke that why you do it, but because I live there, so I don't want to live with pesticides and chemical around.
Exactly.
So that's we want to make it out in a joke way, but it makes sense. So we try to do our little part, a little brick in the wall, and try to set up something more different and interesting.
Well, I thank you so much for coming to talk to me.
It was really
fun.
Great pleasure. Thank you so much.
Enrico from the DREI DONA winery.
Great.
Thank you so much. It has been a pleasure, and
Thanks.
I hope to see you again.
Absolutely, whenever you want. Thank you very much. It was a real pleasure.
You too.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Chaplin, and I'm here today at Slow Wine in Bologna with Alberto Paltrinieri from Emilia-Romagna. And today we're going to talk about Alberto's Cantina Paltrinieri, where he makes Lambrusco Sorbara. I'm very excited about this because I love Italian rosati, and Sorbara is the type of Lambrusco that is the pink one. Graspa Rosa is the dark purple one. So we're going to talk all about Sorbara. So welcome, Alberto. Thank you for coming. When did your cantina start making Sorbara?
Well, actually, the cantina, the winery, was founded by my grandfather, more or less 100 years ago. So
wow.
It's a long story. In fact, we have one of our bottle is the name is Radice. Radice means root. The label is an abstract of the map, just to say we live here.
Oh, how
not
beautiful.
From yesterday, no?
Oh, exactly. A long history.
A long history.
What sort of wines, what style of wines are you making at your cantina now with Sorbara?
You know, Sorbara normally is a blend of two grapes, because Sorbara, the flower, the hermaphrodite flower of Sorbara has a problem.
Exactly. It doesn't make a fruit.
Exactly. And the self-pollination is not so easy. So you have a big problem in terms of loss of quantity, because you have normal berry with the seed inside and little berry that makes this high level of acidity, yes. But also a loss of quantity. So to have not a big problem for this agronomic reason, that became in the year after the consortium was born, is required to plant. It's not a choice.
Right.
You have to plant.
It's a requirement, or else your vineyard is not going to make any
exactly.
grapes.
No, and also for the rules, for the denomination, you have to plant 2 plants of Sorbara and 1 of Salamino.
Yes.
In the past, the plants were in the same row, so the blend was directly done.
Field blend, we say. Field blend.
Exactly. Now, the last 30 years, also for the mechanization, other technologies, you have rows of Sorbara distinguished by rows of Salamino, so you can collect in a separate way. And then this duty, this presence of Salamino is, you can have a choice.
Exactly.
In the wine. So you can have a Sorbara with different parts of Salamino inside. Minimum is 60% from Sorbara and maximum 40% for Salamino.
And how are you blending? What's your blend?
We discovered more than 20 years ago that you can have the same denomination, Lambrusco di Sorbara DOC, even if you use only Sorbara grape. Now we are really proud to be the first, but also to see how this new idea of Sorbara, because actually it's a new idea, it became in this year a possibility for a lot of several different winery. And I'm really happy about this point, because this means territory, no? This means to try to start a new way that other winery.
Other producers are following.
It means that idea was not so bad. No?
Of course. Well, you've got a bottle in your hand.
Exactly.
Let's see, what's it called?
This one is L'Eclisse.
What's in this bottle?
It's a Sorbara 100%, tank fermentation, Sharma method. It's our highest quality, also with Radice. I said before, is our highest quality, comes normally from that oldest vineyard, and we use the free run juice.
Right, okay, free run juice is very important.
Very important.
So no pressing.
No pressing, because we see that, well, we don't do maturation, so it's a Sorbara, so the color is really...
It's the real color, the true color.
It's the real color if you use only free run juice, and if you don't do maturation.
Grazie so much, Alberto. Thank you so much for coming today, and
Thank you.
Congratulations with your Sorbara. It was lovely to meet you.
Thank you.